Okay, great. Yeah. All right, Steve Darling with Proactive Investors back here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference at the Convention Center. Joining us now is David Patterson, the CEO of Vested, and a very familiar face, Solomon Elimimian with the BC Lions. Solomon, great to see you again. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
David, how are you as well?
I'm very good, thanks, Steve.
So, Solomon, before we get to why you're here, let's talk a little bit about Vested and tell us what Vested is.
So Vested is a crowdfunding portal in British Columbia that allows investors to use the BC exemption to invest in private companies. Okay. They can invest as little as $100 and as much as $1,500.
Explain the exemption to people and how that works.
Well, in British Columbia, and I'll speak about British Columbia, is that the only way that you can buy shares without a prospectus is having an exemption to buy them. And so there's a number of exemptions. There's friends and family, close business associates, accredited investors where you need to earn $200,000 or have liquid assets, and now crowdfunding. Okay. So the crowdfunding exemption is open to all British Columbians to invest in private companies.
Okay. And so that could be as little as?
Well, our minimum is $100.
And can go up as high as?
$1,500.
So $1,500, that's it. It's a little thing. And how has the success been?
Well, we started with one,
yes.
And we had, it's my business partner and I, David Brook, we started with a crowd of two, his mom and my mom.
Yeah.
And since that time, we've built up our community to 1,700 people. And those have invested individually, they've invested in 15 deals that we're now doing. I think one's public and 10 are doing non-offering prospectuses right now.
Okay, so they have to be private at first?
They must be private for.
Okay, so a public company can't come and try to crowdfund in order to get that. Okay.
And it would be an inefficient use of their time as a public company, try and raise $1,500 from people. Okay. So this is efficient for a startup.
And it's all done through your phone, right off apps?
Oh, you can do it all in an app. Yes.
So Solomon's here as well, and so explain the relationship with you and Solomon.
Well, background in football, and Solomon and I met through his brother Abe, and I guess we struck up a pretty good friendship.
Yeah, just through the years, always kind of didn't know what I wanted to get into outside of football. My brother Abe coached at Simon Fraser. Dave was an alumni from Simon Fraser. He's like, hey, Saul, why don't you go, talk to my buddy Dave.
Right.
He's an interesting guy, to say the least. And went down and talked to Dave and, kind of asked Dave, where do I see myself after football, 5 years from now, solid 5 years from now.
Right.
I won, multiple awards, won the Grey Cup. Kind of seemed like I was at the mountain peaks for athletes.
Right.
So I was kind of looking in the next avenue, things I wanted to do. And Dave's an interesting guy, and Dave kind of jotted some ideas around. We took a trip to Toronto, and ever since then, Dave's really looked out for me and kind of showed me life after football, which a lot of athletes don't tend to realize that you can't play a certain sport forever.
So you're in school as well, right? You're taking some courses to...
I'm studying right now for my Canadian securities course.
Right. So what is it that interests you? Is it the public markets? Is it running crowdfunding? What is it that you're interested in?
It's pretty much everything. When I first started, I really didn't know much about it. My dad always invested in the Yahoos, the .coms.
Yes.
So I've always been around it when he had the big old Mac, Apple computer, right, with the charts and all that stuff. So I've always been around it, but never really got into it. And, kind of interests me, how the whole, venture capitalism works and, how money works. And I think Dave's a good mentor for that. So with this thing with Vested, I feel like it's a great avenue for investors, people that, want to invest money, don't really know how, or kind of gun shy,
Right.
Like Dave said, you can invest as low as $100 and you're maxed out at $1,500. And a lot of great companies, come through this portal in efforts to go public.
Hopefully your parents would have got into Yahoo at the very beginning, because then you would have owned the BC Lions.
Exactly,
so the way it goes.
Exactly. Missed that boat.
You were retired and you're doing Vested now, but it must be nice when you have someone like Solomon to share some of the wisdom that you've gained over the years.
It's, first of all, Solomon is a unique individual. I know a lot of football players, they think, like I did, that I would play football until I was 93. And football ends on football's terms.
Yes.
And you may think that you've got your life planned perfectly, and then you tear your knee up, your Achilles. And we've seen Achilles tendons tear like that in a career.
Yeah.
Broken wrist. Solomon broke his wrist last year. These things this is what football is. It's a hard sport. And when it ends, if you haven't prepared, you go through a bit of depression.
Yeah.
And I know my football career ended, and I know I like, well, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I ended up going to my mentor, which is my head coach at Simon Fraser, and saying, what do I do now?
Yeah.
That's not the time to be thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
And he helped me. And so I've always tried to also help others to say, think about what's next now. So when you get to then, you've already got a plan.
Yeah. And that's what you're doing right now, is getting a plan together.
Definitely. You never know where life's going to take you. And whatever you plan, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You might find something else you do like. But I think the biggest thing is always looking for your next adventure. And it's the same thing. You have the work ethic, you have the determination, and good things will always happen. And, having good people like Dave, in my corner, and somebody who's teaching me ropes, somebody that cares about me outside of Solomon, the football player, is something very important.
Nice. Well, again, so it's Vested is the company, and
Vested.ca.
And you can also get it on the apps, right?
And go online and look at 56 acquisitions.
Yes.
And you can see Solomon's company and what he plans on doing.
Yeah, and that's a big part. You're invested, you're crowdfunding now as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
So what is it again?
56 acquisitions.
56 acquisitions. There you go. Okay, we can't, just before you go, there is a Super Bowl coming up, and I know I want to get just quickly it's the Patriots, who are my team, I love, and the Rams. Who are you picking?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles, so I would tend to go with the Rams, but honestly, what Tom Brady's been able to accomplish, how can you root against Tom Brady? So if I was a betting man, I'll go with the Pats, but, I'm loyal, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
My heart says Rams. My brain says Pats.
I knew I liked you guys. I knew a reason why I liked you guys. Hey, great to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Solomon, great to see you as well, man. Thank you very much. All right, Solomon Elimimian and David Patterson with Vested here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference.